begin with headlines. National Assembly is poised to approve Electoral Offences Tribunal bill during upcoming public hearing. Plus on the news, federal government debunks scrapping of junior secondary school and senior secondary school education models in Nigeria. From the international scene, U.S. authorities are looking for a small plane carrying 10 people that has been reported missing in the state of Alaska. Details of these and more coming your way soon. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now details of the news. The National Assembly is poised to approve the Electoral Offences Tribunal bill during the upcoming public hearing. Chairman of the House Committee on Electoral Matters, Adebayo Idowu, made this revelation at the public unveiling of the Nigeria Election Violence Reports in Abuja on Friday. Idowu emphasized the importance of fortifying democracy, advancing electoral integrity, and ensuring that elections are conducted in a peaceful and respectable manner as crucial pillars of democracy. He sued for thorough scrutiny of all electoral transgressions to identify their underlying causes and devise strategies to mitigate them within the country.
The Electoral Offences Tribunal Commission is a bill that we intend to pass this time around, and will be made by Nigerians. And the CSOs, this is an area you need to orchestrate if you really want to educate people. Most of the time, you blame the politicians, but you fail to do our work to let people know their roles and their responsibilities.
In a goodwill, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, represented by CTU Force Headquarters, Abayomi Peters, vowed to bolster electoral security through collaborative efforts involving multiple stakeholders in all upcoming elections.
This event for helping the police to carry out its statutory responsibilities. Of course, if we had elections and we have no lessons learned, then there is a problem.
The report also underscored the importance of multi-stakeholder collaboration in promoting peaceful election, which our report shows that it is not.
The federal government has debunked the scrapping of the junior secondary school and senior secondary school education models in Nigeria, recorded the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, at the 2025 extraordinary meeting of National Council on Education in Abuja on Thursday, brought a proposal on 12-year education model of 6 years basic education, 3 years junior secondary school education, and 3 years senior secondary education. This proposal has been misconstrued by some stakeholders to mean the scrapping of the GSS and SSS education models. Correspondent Kule reports that the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, while clarifying the position of the government on the matter at a news conference, said the information was not true.
And I want to clearly clear the sensationalization that has gone out since yesterday, that the Federal Ministry of Education, the federal government, has scrapped a GSS and SS, primary school GSS and SS education. We have not. That still stays. What we're saying is that we need to move from what we have now as 9 years compulsory education to 12 years of compulsory education as it's obtained in other parts of the world. If you look back into the history of Nigeria, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, people that got that went.
And still on that, as part of efforts to reposition and revitalize the basic and secondary education subsector in particular, the federal government has launched the reviewed guidelines of operations of Schools-Based Management Committee of Federal Unity Colleges in Nigeria. School-Based Management Committee (SBMC) is an initiative meant to improve bottom-up education planning and management in order to facilitate improvement in education quality, participation and efficiency. Correspondent Kolojo reports that the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunja Lausa, while speaking at the launching of the document, said the National Council on Education (NCE) at the 54th held in Katsina State in 2007, urged the ministry to use school-based management committees to revamp and reposition the Federal Unity Colleges to effectively serve their objectives.
Manual to support to democratize the way the Federal Unity Colleges are run. Not that we want to run them from the Federal Ministry of Education. We want your school to be managed, operated at your own level with collaboration from all stakeholders in your community. That's the best way we think we can get better results. We can get you educated in a very nice, in a better way. We can create the most enabling environment for you to go to school, and we can create a more collaborative teamwork as we work to advance your education.
Also speaking in the same vein, the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Said Ahmed, said the policy was designed to secure the success of community involvement in secondary education by decentralizing school administration and empowering principals, administrators and teachers, parents and community members in the decision-making process. Other speakers at the event equally lauded the initiative by the government in this regard.
Who lead, support and oversees our schools. Today, we set out an important journey to strengthen this foundation by reviewing the existing SBMC policy to give it a holistic approach with a capacity to boost the capacity and effectiveness of SBMCs.
The colleague has mentioned, now we are reviewing the guidelines. I think we need to pay attention to the components, honorable ministers, of the SBMCs at the sub-national levels, because what we have at the moment, like she has mentioned, are membership of the SBMCs that are really old and are not conversant with the 21st century education management and, of course, operations of the school. Yes, they do take ownership in high states of the schools, but then they are not as active as they should be.
Nigerians have applauded the steps to create new states out of some existing ones across the country, but their concern is that it must be based on merit, justice and equity, while politics must not be allowed to be at the center stage. Oyo State Galaxy News correspondent Shegun Falomo spoke with some Nigerians on the reactions to the development.
Creating states, as much as it is good, it is just cosmetic, and at the end of the day, it will just give the people that are making agitation for it a silent, puts them in a silent mode, like the demands have been met. But what about governance? What about leadership? What about ensuring that the people who are, who are agitating for these things, eventually when they get it, they are actually feel this sense?
And still in Oyo State, electricity workers in Ibadan have staged a secondary protest against the casualization of workers without formal employment, non-payment of hazard allowances, maltreatment of staff and poor health scheme. The workers who occupied their recruitment outsourcing agent, Premier International Procurement Logistics, alleged that some employees had worked as casual workers for years, receiving meager salaries without prospects of full employment without remittance. Some of the workers who spoke with Galaxy News claimed that IBDC and their outsourcing recruitment agent are engaging them with undue labor without a commensurate payment to services rendered to the company. Efforts to speak with the managing director of the outsourcing recruitment agent, Wale Adeniji, proved abortive as he declined speaking with journalists after he addressed the protesting workers.
The people that have they employed today, just last year, they are collecting nothing less than 120,000. And the PIPA, the assets are collecting, they are even work more than that. Then you allow these assets, they are bringing billions of naira to IBDC with 50,000 naira. And if there's any issue right now, people will even see PIPA to defend us.
You renew our employment every year. Why? Why? Condition of service through labor, it says when you have spent some years with, you should be staffed.
As some of us there are 13 years in this company organization, and the salary is still 50,000. No increment. There is not any of us. IBDC will not be responsible for it.
When IBDC is compensating their own staff, PIPLS should also be able to give us compensations, because we are doing better than their staffs. When you talk of IBDC staffs, the target they even give some IBDC staff is far lesser than what they give to us. You can imagine, as an outsourced staff being paid 50,000, they're giving you a target of 7 million naira in a month.
You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. National Association Union of Electricity Employee declines all reconciliatory efforts to date. Details of that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with thoughts on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with thoughts on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly. National Association Union of Electricity Employees has declined all reconciliatory effort to restore power after 5 days of total blackouts in Kaduna, Kebbi, Sokoto and Zamfara franchise states. The union offices. The management of Kaduna Electric is saying it has accepted that it made a mistake in computing the exit packages of affected staff and is ready to sit with the union to renegotiate, but pleads that power supply be restored as the renegotiation continues. However, the union said they will not restore supply in order to relieve people of the distress and hardship until the affected staff are recalled.
The management of Kaduna Disco throw caution to the wind, and they remain in their decision that there is nothing they can do. We are giving out this press release to let everybody, the NLC Kaduna State, other affiliates of our unions, to see that this man who has done this dastard act in Yola was so proud and full of himself to say he will do the same here.
And still on that, Kaduna State government has intervened in the ongoing industrial dispute between Kaduna Electric and its workers' union, which has resulted in power outage in all its franchise states for 5 days. The Deputy Governor, Dr. Adiza Balarabe, who hosted the meeting at Sir Kashim Shettima House, pleaded with the union to restore electricity to consumers as soon as possible because the outage has impacted negatively across all sectors. Dr. Balarabe implored the management and the union to find a common ground to ensure the resolution of their differences, as the lack of power has badly affected homes, businesses, and with attendant security implications. She further said that the management and the workers of Kaduna Electric need each other and that they should continue to hold dialogue on a regular basis even after the present impasse has been resolved. Speaking earlier, Comrade Wisdom Chidinwachuku, the National Vice President Distribution of the National Union of Electricity Employees, said that the union is not against the downsizing of workers but wants due process to be followed and all their entitlements paid. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo has flagged off his free malaria test treatment and drugs distribution in the state. The exercise, which took place, protected against increased cases of malaria-related death in the state. Speaking at a brief ceremony to commence the flag-off, the Edo State Governor said the goal of his administration is to eliminate malaria. The Edo First Lady also reiterated the stand of the state governor.
Eliminate malaria in Edo State. This support from Islamic Development Bank will help us achieve that, and with my commitment to affordable healthcare. Over the next 2 years, we aim to ensure 80% of pregnant women receive malaria prevention medication. 2, 95% of the people with fever for malaria.
Here to kick and knock malaria out. As I said, it's the first in the state. It's to let you know that this administration is open to everything good. And yesterday we added another name to the governor. We said it's Akbako Healthcare. So as it affects the citizens.
To all those stories, both drivers in Benin City, the Edo State capital, have staged a peaceful protest over the alleged killing of their colleague Henry Osarodian by operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC). The protesters who converged at the headquarters of the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Benin City were displaying placards with different descriptions calling for justice for the slain boat driver. Correspondent Dele Fasson has more in this report.
Speaking to newsmen, the brother of the victim and some of his colleagues narrated how the late Henry was killed.
My elder brother called me Henry. He said he was being beaten by men of the Civil Defense Corps, that he came to drop a passenger at the Castle Hotel. So he now said, okay, fine, let him take a snapshot of the plate number to be able to track those guys when he goes to make a report. It was at that stage, after beating him, at that stage the Civil Defense said he cannot take a snapshot. Only for the guy to now call for backup. And they came and they messed my brother up. They didn't stop at that, they took him to their office, held him for 4 hours. With the beating he collected, no treatment, nothing. They released him for after 6. He went to the station.
Promised to visit the police and
to defend your members so that it will not happen again. So I'm sure that by now the matter must have been reported at the nearest police station. So we'll find out from the police and then we'll be able to balance it properly. We have also talked about the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Yes. We'll also call them out to find out their position on this matter. So we assure you, as journalists in Edo State, we will ensure that this matter from this moment go around.
From Benin City in Edo State, Dele Fasson reporting for Galaxy TV News.
And to all those stories, the Sokoto State Police Command has confirmed the abduction in Sabon Birni local government area. The spokesperson for the command, DSP Hamid Rufai, confirmed the incident while speaking with newsmen in the state on Friday morning. Confirming the incident through telephone, the divisional police officer of the community gave the assurance that the Nigerian police, in conjunction with other security agencies, are currently working tirelessly to ensure the immediate release of all the abductees. The gunmen reportedly stormed the mosque in Bushi town at dawn on Thursday, abducting at least 10 worshippers, including the imam. Information gathered revealed that the community had suffered repeated attacks despite the presence of security forces, including troops of Operation Fazanyama from the Nigerian Army's 8th Division headquarters. A member of the Sokoto State House of Assembly representing the area, Said Ibrahim, also confirmed the incident, stating that at least 10 people were kidnapped. He, however, condemned the troops for preventing further abductions. Suspected pirates hijacked a passenger boat carrying 20 travelers along the Borneo-Krika waterways in Rivers State on Thursday. They escaped searches on to rescue the others. The Borneo local government chairman Andengi Claude Wilcox said the rescue was in collaboration with security agencies. Claude Wilcox, in a statement by his media aide Boma Waribo on Friday, said the driver of the passenger boat went contrary to the rules to pass through Kilometer 10, which is a River State chapter, has expressed worry over the continued pirate attacks in the state. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back, and still with security-related matters. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has appointed Commissioner of Police Abayomi Shogunle as the head of the Special Intervention Squad. The police chief has also assigned Shogunle to lead the election planning, monitoring and the force public relations officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi said the appointments aim to strengthen internal security and improve the police force's response to violent crimes. The statement also announced the appointment of CSP Chima Garashi as a new Force Marine officer tasked with enhancing security and tackling crime along the nation's inland waterways. The new SIS head CP Shogunle is a highly experienced officer in operations and public relations with certifications in various capacities. He will lead SIS in addressing security challenges while also overseeing elections planning, monitoring and evaluation and the Safe School Protection Squad, the statement read. Ogun State Police Command says it is on the trail of a truck driver who crushed 3 automobile technicians to death in the Kemta area of Abeokuta on Wednesday. The command spokesperson Omolola Odutola confirmed this to newsmen on Friday, stating that the driver fled the scene immediately after the accident. It was reported that several automobile technicians at the Ajibo Mechanic Village, Abeokuta, protested the killing of their colleagues on Thursday. The technicians, who are members of the Nigerian Automobile Technicians Association, blocked the Ajibo OGTV road and vowed not to allow trucks to ply the road until necessary steps are taken. The police spokesperson told newsmen that the technicians were aware of the police effort towards apprehending the driver. Odutola explained that the police representatives had long discussions with truck owners, technicians and relatives of the victims. In an interview with newsmen, the Ajibo Mechanic Village chairman Saeed Arilugun also confirmed that the truck driver was at large. Arilugun noted that the truck owners were making moves to ensure that the deceased were released to their families for burials. The Anambra State Police Command have raided suspected kidnappers Ida in Owerri Izukala, as several suspects were arrested during the raid. This coming barely 24 hours after the body of the kidnapped Anambra lawmaker, Honorable Justice Azuka, was found around the Second Niger Bridge in Onitsha. The policemen, who were in their hundreds, were said to have combed several communities believed to be hideouts of criminals and is paid off with the arrest made. When contacted on the raid, the Anambra Police Command spokesperson Tochukwu Ikenga said the raid was in line with the directives of the State Governor Chukwuma Soludo and the Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetukun, who gave a marching order to free the state of criminal elements. Meanwhile, it is not yet clear if some of the arrested suspects were part of the gang who killed a lawmaker representing an aid of protecting lives and properties of Nigeria. The Clean Foundation, with support from the German Cooperation and UNDP, organized a citizens' engagement on police reforms in River State. The event themed Supporting Police Accountability and Transformation Project brought together key stakeholders to discuss critical issues and strategies for advancing policing reforms in Nigeria. The acting executive director of the Clean Foundation, Peter Maduoma, set the tone for the workshop in his opening remarks. He emphasized the importance of collaboration between the police and citizens in shaping effective policing strategies.
We know limitations in the pathway of the police, ranging from capacity building, ranging from the funding of the police, and so on and so forth. Like we were saying yesterday, the police is an agency of the government. And the way some of the blames are given to the police is not fair, because there is, in terms of funding, in terms of some of the things that the police needs to function very well.
The Inspector General of Police, IGP Egbetukun, represented by the Rivers State Commissioner of Police, CP Olubenga Adepoju, acknowledged the significance of the event in building a collaborative relationship.
Current reforms implemented by the Inspector General of Police are poised to transform the Nigerian police force and indeed align with the needs and aspirations of the Nigerian government and citizens of the country. As the Commissioner of Police, River State, I assure you that we are committed to implementing these reforms. We will patronize building trust with the community.
This training has been able to open our eyes that police should be friendly with the citizens so that they can get most of the information they want. So I will advise the police that the police decks on gender issue should be very broad and open, whereby gender issues can be reported and they can take it into swift action and respond to gender issues.
Policy implementation, technology and modern day policing need to be brought in. We need to also look at infrastructure development. We need to look at how to communicate, use modern technology communication system to deepen what we are doing in security. Digital crime reporting platforms need to be created. We need to work on database management systems.
Nigerian actors under the new name of Nigerian Forest Security Services has described leadership tussle in Benue State as one of its major challenges, which undermines its operations for several months, leaving the personnel directionless in the fight against criminal elements in the forest. The former Benue State Commander, newly promoted to Assistant Commander General Operations North Central, in charge of Benue, Nasarawa and Plateau State, and John Ye Peter, disclosed this in Makwade, stating that the deployment of new Benue State Commander, the morale of personnel will now be rekindled to perform its tasks. According to the ACG operations, the hunters under the new name of Nigerian Forest Security Services is now more poised to support with logistics to effectively discharge its activities, as it has demonstrated its usefulness countless times during court-related clashes and other crime situations in their communities.
It's caused a lot of damages to the operations of hunters in Benue. To my dismay, along the lines, I'm not an indigene. Most of the environment and all the boys I train, they look at it as a mess. A lot of them went to relax. They couldn't come out. And that's why I see the operations since then has been so sluggish. Now that my national body have seen the fact of what is happening, no matter whether the people killed are even a really member that are registered member from this office.
And to other stories, wife of Ekiti State Governor Dr. Olayemi Oyibanji and the New Generation Girls and Women Development Initiative has warned residents of the state to desist from perpetuating female genital mutilation (FGM) against women and girls. They stated this during the commemoration of the 2025 Zero Tolerance Day for FGM with the theme Building Institutional Capacity for Sustainable Advocacy. In our address at 820 level, stakeholders urged Ekiti State residents to join this fight against the FGM while regretting the high prevalence of the practice in the state.
That all of us here are reaching agents to bring female genital mutilation in our state to zero level and making Ekiti State an FGM-free society. This is possible and achievable as the Ekiti State government has provided the policy and legal frameworks to hand off of violence against women and children.
FGM is more like recreating what God has created. So my call to Ekiti people, as pastors, as imams, everybody, we all have a role to play. Tell somebody to tell somebody that FGM is a wrong practice. It is barbaric and we do not want it to continue. FGM must end, and this is the generation that must end FGM. And if we must end FGM, you and I have a role to play.
Join us in the fight to end female genital mutilation. You see something, you say something. Stop cutting our girls. They are not fabrics.
Now we move to the international desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. U.S. authorities are looking for a small plane carrying 10 people that have been reported missing in the state of Alaska. The U.S. Coast Guard for the Alaska region said a Cessna caravan craft was 12 miles offshore on a flight from Unalakleet to Nome when its position was lost. The two cities are some 144 miles from each other across the Northern Sound, an inlet of the Bering Sea of Alaska's western coast. Search and rescue crews are working to get to the last. The White House defined Israel as a democratic state whose military strict adheres to the laws of war. The actions taken by the International Criminal Court against Israel and the United States set a dangerous precedent. It continued, accusing the ICC of malign behavior that threatens to violate American sovereignty and undermine national security and foreign policy. The International Criminal Court ICC has vowed to continue its judicial work after U.S. President Donald Trump signed an order to impose sanctions on its staff. The ICC said it stands firmly by its personnel and the order seeks to arm its independent and impartial work. Trump's order accuses it of illegitimate and baseless actions after the ICC issued an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over alleged war crimes in Gaza, which Israel denies. The ICC also issued a warrant for Hamas commander. The ICC is a global court, although the US and Israel are not members, with the power to bring prosecutions for genocide, crimes against humanity and war crimes. In a statement, it said, the ICC condemns the issuance by the US of an executive order seeking to impose sanctions on its officials and harm its independence and impartial judicial work. It added it stood by its best of participated in the BRI since it was rolled out by China in 2013. Panama in 2017 became the first in the region to officially join the massive infrastructure plan, which is a central pillar of President Xi Jinping's bid to expand this country's global influence. Formally launched a notice that it will leave the project. The United Nations has called for efforts to prevent the conflict in the